which I really congratulate you for. Are there people from here, the regular residents who are going to vote, if you have questions? All I'm going to ask, though, is you're going to have to come to the mic because this is being televised, and the only way they're going to hear it. So I'm going to ask that you state your name and your street, just like you would at a town meeting. And while this gentleman is coming up, I'm going to ask you, candidates, to try to be about 1 minute if we can, so we can give local people who are already ordered in on.
That's what you think about, because we don't keep track.
I will do that. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, my name is David Barnacle, Lab Road, Sturbridge, 29-year resident. My question has to do with vision as well as the quality of life. Everybody here so far has ignored one of the commercial and retail functions of this town. None of you have spoken as yet about Route 131. It's sort of like that never land that nobody wants to talk about. So my question to you, both present and potential members of the Board of Selectmen, is how much did you have, or how much would you have input into the repaving of Route 131, which is scheduled as a shovel-ready project for next year?
I think it hasn't been much discussion.
Go ahead.
I don't think there's been much discussion on 131 because I think there's agreement. I mean, 131 is a priority road for this town. And I think if there are stimulus dollars that are coming from above, I think 131 should be priority for those dollars. There was a little bit of a hiccup, I believe, because we had to take it up again because of the issue of Southbridge and the wastewater. But I think 131 needs to be repaved. If we're going to bring tourists in here, if we're going to make ourselves aesthetically a more pleasing town, 131 needs to be repaved. We need to have the sidewalks taken care of in that area. And I do know that it's in the pipeline right now. There was a vote, I believe, on some of those issues last year, at last year's town meeting. On broad terms about businesses on 131, I don't think we've had much discussion because 131 has had some development. Now, Ames is the big red light over there. We have to get something in the Ames building over there. There's been some discussion, I know Selectman Guerreri's brought up issues regarding zoning around the Ames store to make it more palpable to commercial interests. I'd be supportive of that. When you get past, Guerreri Jewelers and go down there, you see development, you've seen some new buildings, so I think we've seen some energy down there. And I don't think that should be our greatest concern for commercial purposes. For aesthetic purposes, Mr. Barnacle, you're entirely correct. That 131 road should be one of our main shovel-ready projects, and our stimulus dollars should go into that. I'm happy. I'd be ready to hold Todd Small's hand and go to Beacon Hill to get the money. And if I get given the opportunity, I'll do that. I'm not sure Todd will hold my hand, but I'll try.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's 2 minutes. I'll give you
No,
2 minutes. That's all right. Yeah.
For 131, I was involved in discussions for the last 3 years. I took part in the discussions, in the hearings. I talked to the top engineer, and I've had discussions with our engineers about ways that we can improve the aesthetics of 131, especially at where Route 20 and 131 meet. It's been very hard over the years to get the Mass Mass Highway to do anything significant to improve the aesthetic there. But I think we've made some headway in discussions with our engineers and with the people running the project to get larger trees, something that when you come in, it's the first thing you see when you come into our town. Whether you're going down 20 or 131, I think that is a crucial intersection, and that needs some aesthetic improvements there. So I brought that into the conversation. And I think also another point Scott Guerreri's points on the board is that he owns a business on 131. When we repave 131, we're going to have to be very conscientious of what we might be doing to those businesses when we repave them.
That's a great question, Mr. Barnacle. And when I typically use the term Main Street, I'm always including 131 and Route 20, but I think that all of us are in agreement that at least I feel we are. But 131 and Route 20, it's Main Street, and it's contiguous, and I think that we need to, when I talk about the master plan and creating a vision and looking at the downtown vision and bringing in the stakeholders, certainly that involves all of the businesses there. But Ted raises a good point about being cautious when we're building over there or resurfacing the road and sidewalks. Many of the lots right now that are on Route 131 are in fact pre-existing non-conforming lots. And that, as you know, Mr. Barnacle, is going to create some issues because some of that land is technically owned by the by the shops and businesses there, when in effect it would be much more useful to us as a community if we could take some of that and create sidewalks. So I think that that's going to be part of what we really have to look at in the master plan, and then finding a way, by bringing these folks together, to see if we can work with them to get some trade-offs, because those pre-existing non-conforming lots are going to be some challenges for us. And I don't think it's going to be easily solved either. I really don't.
So,
I think that we owe the repaving of Route 131 not only to our residents, but certainly to our businesses. And the sidewalks and the beautification of Route 131. And I do agree that we do have to come up with a way to repave that so that the businesses don't get hurt. We've got to find a way to do this so that they're not forced to close, or they're not forced, that we reroute people and they have to go around so that the businesses that they're going around don't see business for a few days. We've got to find a way to work that out.
It's a great question.
Other questions? Scott?
But we paid 131 now, the business is at its slowest. This question is for
Can you just identify yourself in the
Scott
general?
Berry, 28 Wallace Road. I'm a 48-year resident from Sturbridge and went through the whole school system there. Ted, since you publicly denigrated the growing business in Sturbridge Group, which is trying to provide opportunities for people to both work and live in Sturbridge, what have you done in the last 3 years to help businesses grow and provide jobs? And what do you plan on for the future?
Okay, so I guess that what I said, Scott, was not an actual denigration of what the growing business in Sturbridge does. My concern was the tone that was taken with, and the way some of their disagreements, some of the way they have spoken their disagreements, I guess. And that's all I'm going to go into that. But in terms of the economic development, what have I done? Well, we've done the Economic Development Committee. We brought that forward. To grow business, one of the main things, and people, we moved the first year that I was on the board. There was no Economic Development Committee. I asked the question because during when I was running, somebody said to me, we need to move to a single tax rate. You're not going to be able to compete as a business, in drawing in business, if you don't have a single tax rate. So we've moved steadily towards a single tax rate, and I've pushed for that all 3 years. In terms, we did find the Economic Development Committee. We've made purchases, we've invested in public spaces that now we're going to concentrate on the infrastructure for tourism dollars. These are things, ecotourism, a real thing. It's a growing business. It's growing faster than regular tourism. And we can invest in that. Now we have trails, we have land, we have lakes. But lastly, and I think the most important, and this is just something that you have to do in good times and in bad, as I said before, you need to concentrate on your costs and keeping your costs down. You invest where you need to, like in the schools, like we did in the town hall. But we need to keep our costs down, not only for our businesses so they can sustain, but also for our elderly, because they're willing to make the investments in the things we need. And I'm very proud of what the board has done and what the town has done over the last 3 years to bring business into this town.
Tom, do you have any follow-up? Okay, Michelle?